Hannah here. Today I'm going to be going over how to use the Hawaii State Legislature website. So the first thing you do is you can go to capital.hawaii.gov, or you can just Google Hawaii State Capitol and the link will pop up. Okay. So I'm sure that folks have varying degrees of knowledge about the Hawaii State Capitol website. So I just want to point out some different things. If you've already created an account for following bills, tracking measures, and that sort of thing, then you'll just want to sign in. If you have never been to the website or you've never registered to follow measures and hearings and that sort of thing, you'll want to register. So this is what the registration looks like. I'm assuming the majority of students will need to register. So you'll put your name, your email address, you'll verify your email address, you'll create a password, you'll click I understand, and then you'll create a user account, right? So then once you've done that, anytime you need to track a measure for the purpose of your 440 final project, you'll sign in. I already have my login information saved, but you can see that you'll need the email address that you signed up with as well as your password. You go to log in, and then you can start doing different things. So a couple of things here. Let's say you're still working through the different measures and you're not sure exactly what your topic is going to be for your 440 project. You can simply search keywords that have to do with topics you're interested in. So, for example, one of the main policies I personally research and what I wrote my dissertation on is Title IX. So I might just, do Title IX. You can see I've already searched that at some point. And I don't think anything's going to pop up yet because bills have yet to be introduced. Just kidding. Okay, so this isn't Title, or this is Title IX, so there's some stuff that's coming up. But you can see, this is only going to get you so far because really title was what the keyword is. So I guess you would have to do a little bit more hone in search, but you can see here that you can click on Title IX and then that helps to refine your search. So in my humble opinion, I think that the website is pretty user-friendly in that sense. And then you can see that you can click on the PDF, and this is a bill that's been introduced for the 2020 legislative session. So Title IX is a bill related to gender equity in education. It's for grades K through 12, and as well as higher education. So you may have heard about it during your time at UH. But the reason why it would be an appropriate topic for our class is because it has to do with gender rights in education. So as previously mentioned on a bunch of documents for this class, any topic that has to do with gender, sexuality, LGBTQ plus issue, essentially anything that has to do with women's studies is appropriate. It's an appropriate topic for your 440 project. The one caveat is that topic has to have some sort of representation in legislation that's being introduced during the Hawaii State 2020 legislative session. Okay, so if I was working on creating a database for my 440 project, what I would do is I would download this bill that has to do with Title IX, which would be my topic if I was an undergrad in 440. And I would then use that PDF document as part of my database. And so literally as right now we're only compiling documents for the purpose of your project, but once you start analyzing the data, you would literally just go through the text here and you would analyze the text. So perhaps you're analyzing each paragraph, each whereas clause when you're analyzing introduced legislation. Perhaps you're looking at each sentence. Perhaps you're looking for specific words and doing a count of how many times a particular word shows up in that particular version of the bill. There's a lot of different ways that you can analyze bills when you're doing a content analysis, and we'll go into that more detail once students have started getting a more comprehensive database of documents to analyze. But the one thing that I want to point out for now is it doesn't matter at what level you're analyzing the documents. It's more important that you're identifying that information. And so we refer to that as the unit of analysis. So when you're writing about the way in which you completed your discourse analysis, you'll be writing about the unit of analysis that you use to analyze your documents. So if you are looking at each whereas clause in your bills, then the unit of analysis would be whereas clauses. If you're looking at each sentence in the bill, then each unit of analysis would be the sentence. If you're looking for specific words and doing a count of those words, then your unit of analysis would be in individual specific words or perhaps phrases that you're looking for. So that's all I'll say about analyzing the documents for now. Yeah, but that's, the short version of how you could be using bills and analyzing them for the purpose of your 440 project. Okay, I've digressed a little bit, but the next thing I want to point out is, let's say you know what topic you're doing, you know some of the bill numbers, and you just want to search for those bill numbers. And you can see I've searched for a lot of different bills over the years. So you can do it that way, and then it'll pull up the bills. And usually when you search for a specific bill, it will, the system will automatically pull up the Senate companion bill, or if you're looking for the Senate bill, then the House companion bill. So as the state legislative session progresses, a bill will be introduced either in the House or the Senate, and then there's always a companion bill, right? So eventually, so you can therefore analyze both versions of the bill because there often are nuances there, right? In Hawaii currently, I would argue that the House of Representatives is a little bit more conservative. So that might be something to look for as you look at the Senate versus the House version of a bill, like which version of the bill is more conservative or more progressive in the language being used, or the measures that would be implemented should the bill pass. Those are the kinds of things you can look for. All right, so you do not have to take a stance on the bills that you're tracking, but if you do and you would like to submit testimony, you can do so here. You'll definitely want to keep track of hearing notifications. So anytime the bills that you're following have a hearing by a committee, that means that representatives or senators are going to be listening to testimony, public testimony from the community, either for or against the bill. And then they'll be deciding whether or not they want that bill to move forward in the process of the bill becoming law. So this is important for you to keep track of because the testimony that's given is public. And so you can use that the transcripts of that public testimony as part of your analysis if you want. So things you might look for is like, okay, what organizations, what lobbyists are lobbying for and or against your bill. That information is really important for thinking through, like, is this a progressive measure? Is it a conservative measure? Perhaps it's a progressive measure, but the language being suggested in the Hawaii State Legislature is actually quite conservative relative to similar bills in other states. Obviously, you'll want to track your measures. So this just allows you to search for bills and then you follow them. So this is my list for last year, and these are Title IX related bills that I was following. This just helps to make sure you know when senators and or representatives are hearing your measure so that you can keep track of that public testimony. And if you choose to submit written or in-person testimony, it also helps you keep track of that, or for that purpose. So this is just other things that you can look into. So if you let's say you know who's the main supporter of the bill, like the senator or the representative who introduced your bill, who's really, gung-ho about that particular issue. You know who it is. So for me, it would be Linda Ichiyama and Aaron Johansson are the big supporters of Title IX and equal pay, which are two big issues I personally follow at the state level. So you could go here, and then you could literally just look for the people who are supporting your measure and introducing your bill. And you could just click on their website and find out more information about them, like which district do they represent, what issues, what political platform did they run on, like what do they care about, right? And so you can see here, like Linda Ichiyama cares about women's issues. That's like front and center on her representative website. And so you can use this information and analyze it and look at different aspects of the introducers to see like, where is this bill coming from? Whose language is being used, that sort of thing. Okay, if you want to see, so you know that you have your bill, you know that it's going to be heard by a specific committee, and you want to see who sits on that committee. You can click on committees and you can look to see, here's all of the different committees. And depending on the topic, there's going to be different important committees for you to look at. So like for Title IX and creating a stronger state Title IX bill, that doesn't necessarily take money or funding initially. So labor might not be a super important committee, although it most often is, because anytime there's money associated with the bill, labor is going to be involved. So, but for equal pay, labor is going to be a major committee that I care about, right? So if those are the two issues I care the most about, that's what I'm going to be tracking. That's what I'm going to be analyzing. Then I would want to see like who is on the House and the Senate labor committees, because I know that's going to be important. Here we have higher education. That's going to be an important committee for my Title IX bill, right? Because Title IX is exclusively a bill about education. So we know that's a committee that's going to hear that. So you just click on here, you see who the chair of that committee is, who the vice chairs are. You can click on their website to see like, oh, do they care about women's issues? It looks like Woodson really cares about community colleges, but not so much women's issues. We don't really see anything there. So these are just the kinds of things that you want to start to familiarize yourself with as you peruse the state capitol website. By the end of this week, you should have your topic and your bills picked out. You should have registered an account with the Hawaii State Capitol website. And as to the best of your ability, you should sign up to follow the bills that relate to your topic. Now, I use two examples in this video. I use Title IX and equal pay, but students should only pick one topic and that's it. So if you are a student in this class and you care about Title IX and you also care about equal pay, do not do an analysis of both topics. You do need to choose which one you want to focus on for your 440 project, simply because it would be too much data and too much of a time commitment to analyze more than one topic. So then once you hone in on a specific topic, let's say you choose equal pay, women's equal pay. From there, you have to find out, are there different versions of the bill? Sometimes there will be multiple versions of a bill. A good example of this is the bills to increase minimum wage. There's usually like 5 or 6 different versions of that bill in the House and 5 or 6 versions of that bill in the Senate. So you'll be following a lot of bills and analyzing a lot of PDFs of bills to see like what's the nuances of those different bills and the language used in them and the measures that they seek to implement. For something like Title IX, there's typically only one Title IX bill in the House and one Title IX bill in the Senate, maybe 2. So you're going to have fewer bills to analyze if you were to choose that topic, but there's going to be other things you can analyze. So you could find letters to the editor and or op-eds about Title IX. You can look at national Title IX law. You can look at bills introduced in other states to compare and contrast the language in, say, California state Title IX bill versus the proposed bills in Hawaii. There's a lot you can do. I encourage students to get creative in terms of the documents you're using in your database. But if you have any questions about how to navigate the Hawaii State Capitol website and or documents you should be using for your database and for your analysis, please feel free to email me at hannahli@hawaii.edu. And then another great resource to use is the Public Access Room, which is at the Hawaii State Capitol. And I'll provide links on LaLima to their website so that if you're on a neighbor island or you're off island or what have you, you still have access to the information from the Hawaii Public Access Room. That's all from me for now. Good luck as you hone in on your topic, your bills, and your databases. And I look forward to hearing from students soon. Bye, guys.